This will be Chapter 1, Mindless Conformity and the Need to Mindlessly Belong, which, by the way, has done enormous harm in this world. At any rate, let us begin here. When it comes to charities and other organizations claiming to be for the public good, many of them remain ineffective and oftentimes harmful. The need to feel good and to conform with group mindset is more important than efficacy for many of their followers. When it comes to animal cruelty and dogfighting, there continues to be a minimal police response and a maximum ineffective response by exploitative animal organizations and worthless police token teams, all of which are to the detriment of animals and people. Crimes, all crimes, belong in the hands of public law enforcement. Decades ago, I tried to expose how widespread and common are dogfighting and animal cruelty, and how things will never change for the better as long as these crimes continue to be exploited by animal organizations and are minimally responded to by public law enforcement. Imagine if drunk driving and domestic violence were not widely responded to by public law enforcement and instead were responded to by token police teams and by private organizations. There would be an explosion of those crimes, just as there is for animal cruelty and dogfighting. All I received in return is derision, kill the messenger, and watch as certain individuals and organizations make fortunes off the backs of suffering animals. A number of animal organizations presented themselves and continue to do so as being concerned about animal cruelty. Give them donations, they market themselves, and then abused animals are helped. No one had the guts, the decency to stand up and question their efficacy. Talking about a problem and showing concern for a problem is not the same as actually doing something effective. Likewise, having a program to address a problem is utterly meaningless, even harmful, in the absence of scrutiny and accountability. Unfortunately, feel-goodness, not efficacy, is the standard. Fast forward decades later, practically no one gets arrested for dogfighting. Instead, there are worthless token police teams and animal cruelty investigators fielded by exploitative animal organizations instead of a widespread, meaningful police response. There are also a number of organizations and individuals superb at displays of concern and marketing hype that never get held to task to ever do anything of substance. Think this is wrong? Facts do not lie. Practically no one ever gets arrested for dogfighting, and very few get arrested for animal cruelty in relation to how widespread and common are these crimes. A dogfighter has a far greater chance of getting struck by lightning than ever getting arrested for dogfighting. And many so-called animal lovers, more concerned with feeling good than challenging this pathology, continue to turn a blind eye. When it comes to conservation and wildlife protection, a number of conservation, animal welfare, and wildlife organizations have become filthy rich, marketing themselves as the go-to source for helping the environment, animals, and wildlife. They have grown rich and famous. Wildlife, flora, and fauna have greatly diminished. It is easy to point out problems and offer weak and fake solutions as a way of fundraising and to gain more converts and donors. Accountability and critical scrutiny of what these organizations actually do and their efficacy is greatly lacking. Too many people want nothing more than to feel good, not rock boats, and live with illusions rather than face unpleasant realities. A certain rainforest and its highly endangered wildlife were destroyed. A number of conservation and wildlife organizations ignored the police for help or promised help and did nothing. Talking the talk is different than walking the walk. These organizations are good at pointing out problems, but when it comes to actually doing something effective, no one questions them or holds their feet to the fire. I cannot, as a man with a voice never listened to, do anything about the rainforest burning, coral reefs disappearing, dogfighting, animal cruelty, and much more. But I can directly employ small numbers of people in need to remove plastic pollution from coastlines and other areas. But even this effort will go nowhere as long as people choose feeling good over efficacy. A small number of people and organizations will make fortunes from plastic pollution The problem will only get worse, and in the end, what should have been done will never get done. None of this has to be this way, the way it is. None of this has to be this way. But nothing would change as long as people let emotion prevail, choosing feel-goodness and mindless conformity over critical thought and over concern for efficacy.